Sprint Trophy, and the race gets underway then. And the 120's on the front row of the grid, making good starts there. Rob Carvel in the silvery grey car, and all the way round, and a bit further back. It's not a good start by Matt Priestwood at all, is it? Among the 116s, so he's dropped back to third within that class, so that's important because he needs to win with fastest lap to stand a chance of taking the title away from Matthew Highcock. And this is the first season of racing for the 116 Sprint Trophy as a championship.
How about that? I don't know, we'll not even run wide at Redgate, so any concerns that could get messy, absolutely not needed. What about the old hairpin?
Well, Anthony Seddon was leading Rob Carvel through there, but there's a lot of cars to get through the Craner curves and the old hairpin, but touch wood, as I say, it looks like everyone is safely through at the moment. One car is a little bit slower off the old hairpin and is pulling off onto the grass, maybe the problem rather than anything else.
Jack Gordon's coming through the field, if anything, Ian. He's on the inside of Ethan Hall, who does get shuffled a little bit wide. Just ahead, Matt Priestwood is desperately trying to get past Will Abraham as he sees his championship rival Matt Highcock go away. And all sorts of scrapping for what is fourth in the 116. Priestwood, though, is alongside Abraham as they come out of the corner, but look how far Matt Highcock is up the road. Yeah, great start to the race for Matt Highcock, doing more than what he needs to do, but it's side by side for second amongst the 116s as they come down. Will Abraham with the green mirrors on his car, the mainly pink car of Matt Priestwood is still in third position. Matt Priestwood with his eye on moving into higher ranks of racing for next season. He's losing a position, though. This is not what he wanted because Jack Gordon has got past him in the number 71 car. The two 120s are nose to tail as well. Rob Carvel and Anthony Seddon. Seddon is still ahead at the moment, and we are waiting for the cars to make their way up towards Goddard's for the first time then. There's Priestwood having been shuffled back by Jack Gordon. Oh, and a spinner down there, that's the 220 car. Andrew Partridge and Austin Browse are sharing that this weekend. It's Partridge out for this race. Fortunately, the timing screen hasn't begun this race, so we won't be able to bring up those graphics for you just as of yet. But it is Rob Carvel that leads. So he got past Anthony Seddon on that opening lap in the 120 Coupe Cup. There's Highcock behind them. Not falling that far back, really, is he, in the 116 Sprint Trophy car. In third overall, and interestingly, that is working on that screen, so we can bring you the graphics. Yeah, we can. So it's showing it's Rob Carvel leading by half a second. Yeah, the TSL live timing is not working, but the sort of back end that we have into it for our graphics are working. So we've got those. Carvel, Seddon, Highcock leading the 116s. Then Will Abraham, Jack Gordon, Matt Priestwood, Peter Keane, James Waring, Pete Brands, and Ethan Hall rounding out the top 10. There is Matt Highcock, though. Look at the size of that lead. I mean, that's not what we've come to expect in the 116 Sprint Series, or the trophy actually, during the course of the past couple of seasons. This is how you go to win a championship, isn't it? It is. But it's a great battle of a second with Abraham, who's fallen into the clutches of Jack Gordon, then Priestwood, then Peter Keane and James Waring. Ethan Hall dropped down on that opening lap, so he is behind also Pete Brand. But yeah, it's a great scrap for what is second in the Sprint Trophy. So they'll be heading down towards the S's, where the two 120s are. Rob Carvel ahead of Anthony Seddon. Yep, heading down towards the right-hander. That's Melbourne Hairpin. Go the leaders. There's Highcock as well in third position. Here they come out of the hairpin now, climbing back up towards us at Goddard's. It's the 59 car ahead of Rob Carvel, ahead of number 5 Anthony Seddon. So if things stay this way, this is looking good for Rob Carvel to take the 120 Coupe Cup Championship. There's a car that's stopped, which is number 7, the Harrison Compton Goddard, Christopher Compton Goddard car has stopped on the start and finish straight. You can see that on the timing screen as we've got a battle on there for the lead of the race overall, and also battles going on in the 116s, and Matt Priestwood is losing ground, I think, net there. Peter Keane has come through ahead of both Priestwood and Jack Gordon. If we can look back to the second group of cars, if we can, because they were absolutely, 3 abreast at least past our commentary position, but the overall lead battle is just as good with Rob Carvel putting the pressure on it. Look back into the Craner curves, maybe to that battle that Will Abraham led across the line, but all battles behind. What about a bit further back? Well, there's Peter Keane. So Keane did come through, and James Waring has followed him ahead of both Matt Priestwood and Jack Gordon. So I wonder if Priestwood had a go at Gordon at the final corner in, and they've both got caught out. And Waring going for what would be third. I think someone might have had a moment. Yes.
Yes,
Ethan Hall.
25 car, the driver from Dorking. Priestwood is trying to get back ahead of James Waring, who's had some success in the last couple of meetings in 116s. He's pretty rapid, he's certainly proved that, but it's getting a little bit too close between those two. Almost rubbing door handles there.
And massively sideways as Waring as he turned into the corner. Two of the youngest drivers on the grid, both teenagers still. Is that the car that was slow at the beginning, the Andersons? I think that was the car we saw slow at the old hairpin, possibly.
Yes, I think
so
it was.
That has pitted. But yeah, Matt Priestwood, as everything's going away from everything that could go wrong and trying to win this championship is seemingly in this race, with his rival up the road, and then he's getting involved in all the scraps.
So 9 minutes of this race left to go. There is the treble 5 car there, Matt Highcock, who is streets ahead, it would seem, in the 116 Sprint Trophy part of this competition. 3rd place overall. There you can see in 2nd place Will Abraham, 3rd Matt Priestwood once again, is it?
Yes, he's coming back through. Yeah, we saw him get, well, it got a bit lively between him and Waring, but he did get through. So this is our secondary class in speed, if you like, but a much more numerous 116 Sprint Trophy cars. Matthew Highcock does a 2:01.8 then, and he is going away from Will Abraham. He's 6 seconds ahead, and then a big battle for 3rd in that division. Matt Priestwood, James Waring, Peter Keane, Jack Gordon and Pete Brand all involved in this battle, with Tom Sibley not far behind.
That's right, so that's the top 10 then at the end of lap number 3. It's probably going to be something like a 7, maybe an 8 lap, probably an 8 lap race actually, looking at the times that are now being done by the front running in 120s. They're in the 157s now, Seddon's in 157, 415, and he is ahead now of Rob Carvell. So Seddon into the lead of the race, but we're looking again at the 116s. In particular, the battle for 2nd in the 116s. We're headed at the moment by Will Abraham in the 209 car, but he is now getting away from Matt Priestwood and James Waring, who at this part of the circuit a lap ago got a little bit leery, the two of them, got very close to one another as they turned their way out of McLean's and up towards Coppice Corner. You can see at this part of the circuit the dry line is on the right hand side of the track. Cars make their way through the fog TSs, run out to the left hand side of the track on the racing line. That will be the dry part of the circuit there, and then the head once again down to the Melbourne hairpin. There's exactly half of the race gone. Half of it to go. Are we going to get a change of lead? It looks like Carvell has gone through on the inside, but then run wide on the exit. Yes,
he braked much too late, and that means Seddon's going to have a larger lead, I think, than what he had before. I think this is the first time any 116s have raced on the Grand Prix circuit, because the trophy has always been on the national track when they've been here. So these are lap records for BMW 116 competition, as well as the 120 Coupe Cups. But yeah, that big challenge from Carvell did not work out. So they come across the line with a full second between them for the first time in this race. Anthony Seddon ahead. They're 16 seconds quicker than they were in the dry, showing the speed difference when it was slippery earlier. Matt Priestwood is still ahead of James Waring. Are they catching Will Abraham? The gap was 1.5 seconds. It's now a second. They are coming towards Abraham for 2nd in the 116 division. But they're not... Matt Priestwood's not really dropping any of that chasing pack, is he? Maybe Pete Brand in 9th overall has fallen away from Jack Gordon. And Jack Gordon's not struggling with dry conditions, is he? So that car seems to be back to where it was last year. Yeah, he's on the pace, isn't he? So what lap times he's done? He's done a 2:02.127. Best lap in is a 2:01.378 among the 116s, which is for Highcock, so it's not too far off the pace at all. So that car seems to be back into its sweet spot again, which is good to see. And the number 71 car driven by Martin Donnelly a few years ago at Snetterton. So that's your top group of cars gone through. That's back to 8th, that little group of cars. Then Pete Brand, number 86 in 9th. Tom Sibley, number 12 in 10th position. All things, though, pointing towards a victory for Matthew Highcock here, and him confirming himself as the 116 Sprint Trophy champion as well, with a round to go at the end of this afternoon's racing. Anthony Seddon and Rob Carvell, I think that's probably going to go down to the wire. 2:32 is into the pit lane, and that is the car of Jonathan Baker and Ian Mitchell for this race. Nose to tail between Abraham and Priestwood. So Priestwood's caught that second to the double Silverstone race winner Will Abraham. There was 12 points on total scores between these two coming into the weekend for second in the championship, as Rob Carvel now into the 56s does the best up of the race, and there's contact, and round goes James Waring out of 6th overall, 4th in class. Was that Peter Keane that perhaps was trying to pass him? And it's all gone wrong then for James Waring, the 16-year-old from Lancashire, now facing the wrong way, desperately wants to get out of that situation and has done, but he's obviously lost a lot of position, so a real shame there for the young teenager, youngest driver on the grid, probably youngest driver racing this weekend.
Yeah, so that means that Pete Brand and Tom Sibley move up to 8th and 9th respectively, and I think we'll get a different 10th place driver as well when they come through.
It was a strangely massive gap, wasn't there?
It
From
was.
Sibley back to Ben Wilshire, who's actually now been passed by his teammate Dan Lavery, who's into the top 10 overall. A very large gap, showing how quick that front group are, even if they're not as quick as Matthew Highcock. Although Priestwood now on par with Highcock's pace, as he's caught Will Abraham. Here are the overall leaders. They're going to get 2 laps at the end of this. That'll be, what, an 8-lap race.
Yeah.
9/10 of a second between Seddon and Carvel at the start of the lap. Carvel, for the championship, only really needs to sit behind, but I'm not sure how much either of them are thinking about the championship. It's all about race wins, I think, at this stage for the 120 Coupe Cup.
That's right. Not so many of them on the grid. Hopefully that will continue to build and more cars will be prepared for this. And you can see that they are several seconds a lap quicker, getting on for 4.5 seconds a lap quicker, aren't they, I would say, at the moment around the Grand Prix circuit, which is a relatively long lap, of course, at Donington. But nevertheless, they do offer a performance step up from the 116s, which are hugely popular, as you can see from the size of the grid that we have here today, and we'll have again tomorrow for the Enduro race. So these two go on to their penultimate lap of the race now, with just over 3 minutes of the race left to go. Seddon and Carvel separated by 9/10 of a second, and then it's quite a long gap back then to Matthew Highcock in the 116 Trophy lead, but the 116 Trophy second place, well, that is still very much under dispute. Will Abraham, number 209, is there in second place at the moment from number 173 Matt Priestwood, should say, and then it's the 151 car of Peter Keane. Will Abraham has won twice this season, Peter Keane once, and Matt Priestwood twice as well, but it's Highcock, of course, who's done most of the winning 5 victories before this weekend. Looks like the mirror on Abraham's car has been folded in a bit on the passenger side of the car, so that's probably not being terribly useful for him at the moment.
I wonder if Matt Priestwood can make the most of that and challenge on that side, particularly for the last corner. Abraham won't know perhaps if Priestwood is challenging, and that could give Matt Priestwood an opportunity to catch Will Abraham unaware in 2:09. Will Abraham then 21 from Berkshire in second position in the class. Has also raced in the Fun Cup with his dad, Paul, who I think will be driving the car tomorrow in the trophy race, the 90-minute race. Priestwood's got a run here, but Abraham saw him coming. He moves across to defend up towards Coupe. It's still, though, damp on the inside line, so Abraham doesn't really want to turn in on that line. It's an awkward line he's had, and that's allowed Matt Priestwood to come up the inside. The best one of all is Peter Keane, so they're going to be free abreast. The Esses isn't really known for a corner to go free or wide into, so this is all going to get sketchy. Peter Keane backs out of it. Matt Priestwood is nosing ahead, and he goes through. So Priestwood has made it. That's all started up at Coppice, and it is completed by the time they get to the S's into second place, where there were yellow flags out, so that's why they had to back off, and that means a checkered flag has gone out, I think, to Anthony Seddon, who's won the 120 Coupe Cup race. There you can see a checkered flag a lap early with that car off at the S's. So the 120 Coupe Championship will go to tomorrow, but we should have any moment now. Matthew Highcock coming through to take the checkered flag. And let's wait for him. Here he comes, and Matthew Highcock comes across the line now, takes the checkered flag, and wins the 116 Sprint Trophy Championship for 2024, the inaugural championship for these cars. Matthew Highcock has put that beyond doubt now. And meanwhile, we've had a great race in the 120s. The two lead protagonists, Seddon and Carvel, finishing in that order. Meanwhile, it's Priestwood that's come across the line second in the 116s, Keane third, Abraham fourth, Jack Godden fifth, and Pete Brand sixth. So Keane also got past Abraham in all of that, didn't he? So for Will Abraham, it's not been an ideal situation. Caroline Early, I think, might have been the car in the gravel. She didn't come through at the end of the previous lap. Dan Lavery, he comes through ahead of James Waring, who recovered to what would be 9th in the 116s, with Ben Wilshire 10th, and just ahead of them was Tom Sibley, who therefore was in 7th. Into the pit lane, therefore not classified, is Paul Whiten in 10, who was 7th in the championship coming into this final weekend. There's Matthew Highcock, though, on your screen now, the champion of the 116 Sprint Trophy, with 6 race victories, a couple of seconds and 3 thirds, never off the podium. And it all came good for Matthew Highcock at Anglesey, and he's only been beaten once since July.
Yeah, no, he's had a very good run. But there's the overall result then after 7 laps of racing. Number 5, Anthony Seddon, the race winner. Some from number 59, Rob Carvalho in second place, 1.647 seconds between those two. 26 seconds back, but then the 116 winner was number 555, Matthew Highcock. 4th was number 173, and he was 11 and a bit seconds behind the first of the 116 car. So 173, Matt Priest was 2nd of the 116s. 5th overall, 3rd of the 116s was number 151, Peter Keane, and 6th was 29, Will Abraham, 7th number 71, Jack Gordon, 8th number 86, Pete Brown, 9th was number 12, Tom Sibley, and 10th 107, Dan Lavery, ahead of James Waring, Ben Wilshire, Ben Dobbs, and Tom Littlechild. Further back, AJ Duffel was 15th, ahead of Lewis Charlton, David Smith, Ethan Hall, Paul Whiten, although he was in the pit lane, and David Hudson rounded out the top 20. And we'll let the rest of these scroll through, because there was a lot of cars, nearly 42 cars started the race. We'll have a look at the cars from 28th downwards now, and you can see.
Don't think Ian
going through, Josh.
Don't think any of the other 120s got out, did they, in that race?
Didn't look like it.
So we just did have Seddon and Carvel as the only two, as you say. Hopefully more of those next year, because Anthony Seddon's been quite a big supporter of that, hasn't he? Saying they're good cars to drive, just that bit faster than the 116s, but otherwise quite similar.
Well, they're going to be back out again later on today, 5 to 6 this evening for those cars, and that's going to be the final race of the day. We're going to stay with sprint racing next as well for the rest of the day, actually, because we're moving to more motorcycle engined racing. This time it's going to be the Nankang Tyres Sports 1000 Championship that is up next. Bit of recovery work to be done, picking up 1 or 2 cars that fell by the wayside during that 116 trophy, sprint trophy, and 120 coupe cup race. So it'll be a few moments before we get the Sports 1000 cars out onto the street, which don't have a green flag lap, by the way.
Looks like we're
into racing for those cars.
Looks like we're going to catch up with the top 3 from the 116 element of that race, including our new champion. One Matt is with another, so let's have a word with Matt Suckling.
Thanks, Josh. Yep, down here with Ant Seddon, who won the race. We'll get to our champion very shortly. And good win out there, good battle as well with Rob.
Yeah, fantastic battle. It kept me honest. I had to work hard for it. It was a good race.
We had a drying track as well. Did you contend right with that one?
Absolutely, no problem at all. Some back markers caused an issue, but I avoided all the contact, so no problem.
And in terms of this year with the 120s, you enjoyed driving them?
Yeah, it's a mega car. It's only a shame I had to miss 2 rounds, which effectively draws me out of the championship, but I shall carry on fighting.
Yeah,
never over.
Indeed. Another race to come. Well done. Let's have a quick word, if we can, with Matt. Where's Matt disappeared to? Here he is over here. Let's see if we can grab our provisional champion. Matt, if you wouldn't mind coming and have a quick chat with us. Well done. We think you've wrapped it up in the 116 championship, the inaugural champion in this class. How does it feel?
Lost for words, to be honest. Yeah, I'm over the moon. That was probably the best start I've ever had, from a standing start, and then obviously Will and Matt going at it really hard. I could see it in the mirrors, so I just head down. Every lap was like a qualifying lap then, just to get a bit of a gap. So.
And to be fair, the guys upstairs said probably one of the biggest margins we've had so far this year in 116. So you've absolutely crashed the field this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if it wasn't for Will and Matt going, battling so hard, I don't think I would have got away that quick. But it played into my advantage anyway.
It's been a long year. Everything's come together. You've got the results you wanted. You can now go out and celebrate in that final race.
Yeah, I can chill out a bit now. Yeah,
And celebrate as well.
yeah, thank you, mate.
There we go, Matt Highcock, who finishes as our winner. I'll have a quick word with Mac as well, who finished second within the 116s. Matt said there that you two guys behind were squabbling, so you were kind of left in the distance, but still second place in the class.
Yeah, great result. Great result, but very hectic race to be honest. So didn't get the best of starts. I think we dropped down to fourth or else fifth. By the end of the race, we battled us way back up to second. So good result.
Yeah, it was a good result. You knew what you needed to do to try and take the championship to the final race, but it wasn't quite there, was it, today?
Not today. It's still a very unlikely chance something could happen in the last race. Obviously, I don't wish it on Matt. Obviously, it's horrible to say something like that, but you know, it ain't over until the last flag drops. So we'll see.
But you've still got one race to go, so you can kind of overhaul Matt maybe in that final race and get a win to end the year.
Yeah, that would be very nice. That's what we're hoping for.
Good stuff. Well, Matt, congratulations. And we'll have a quick chat as well with Peter, who finished in third place. Peter, if you wouldn't mind, come and have a quick chat with us. How was that race for you?
Yeah, eventful. Yeah, a lot going on. Just managed to nick it at the end there, where Will just went wide at the last corner. Them two were battling away for ages, and I was sort of trying to pick my moment. There's a couple of moments on the back straight there where they were two abreast, so I sort of got alongside him, but the yellow flag came out, so I had to back right off. Otherwise, I'd have probably got past both of them. But yeah, last corner, last ditch move at the last corner where Will went wide, so managed to nick it. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, it was a good result. Yeah, lots of dicing going on, which kind of left you behind Matt out front. But if you can kind of work together next time out and try and catch him up, you might be in for a win. Matt's just in a different league, isn't he? Like he just drove away. I watched him up the road, just miles away. So it's just a case of just trying to sort of catch these boys in front and keep up with those guys. But again, still tough, and it's a lot of battling dicing. It's good fun though. Yeah, it's a good race. So yeah, happy with the result. And how were the conditions as well? We saw a dry line. Yeah, it was pretty much dry everywhere. Offline was a bit tricky. So if you're on the brakes offline, had a bit of a moment offline into the hairpin. So but on the brakes, but yeah, other than that, it was a dry line most of the track, so it was pretty good. Good stuff. Well done. Congratulations on third place. So that's Peter Keane, and we've also had a word there with our provisional champion for this year, Matt Highcock. So he's happy. He's now celebrating and having a look over all the data with the team by the looks of it. So more from them later on with our second race of the day. But up next is going to be the Nanhang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship.